everybody, and welcome back to my channel. On a previous video I pointed out some of the shortcomings of this AccuPhase clone, not my word but the manufacturers of this product. And I've mentioned before about the transformer being loose, or the laminations and the windings being loose and buzzes and things. Watch that video again, or if you haven't watched it, please watch it and then you'll know what I'm talking about. But there's a new thing that's just cropped up in the last couple of days. I've noticed that if I tap the case, you get crackle coming through, and I've traced it back to the transformer. Let me show you. Because I'm messing with mains here, I've put a dim bulb in series with the preamp. Should there become a short, because I'm messing with mains and pulling around the primary and secondary of the power transformer, I don't really want to be launched into space if it develops a short. Hence the lamp, which will light up brightly and tell me that that's what's happened, hopefully, rather than making a huge bang and damaging all sorts of things, including yours truly. So here's the setup, very simple. I've got the output of the preamp going into my monitor amplifier over there. All I'm doing is playing that through my little monitor speakers, Wharfdale monitor speakers. Nothing special, it's just no inputs on the preamp, that's the inputs, and the volume control will be minimum on the preamp. So just output, so you will hear what's going on. The power is on and the volume of the preamp is at minimum. I'm just going to show you now what happens when you touch the wires around the transformer. Everything else is as was, and I've been using it for the last week or so. But look at this. This, by the way, is the primary, and this is the secondary. So watch what happens when I just carefully move these wires. Can you hear that? It's not constant enough that I can put a test meter across here and see the voltage dropping, but equally it could be the primary, as you see. But as the transformer's all loose, you can see the whole thing is loose. I'm convinced that that is the problem. And what I'm going to do to completely eliminate anything else, I'm going to take the transformer out of circuit and put in another transformer and connect it to here. This is the company that I purchased this product from. I've been trying to get in contact with them to say that I want another transformer, and as you can see by the emails that I've repeated on 3 or 4 days running, they haven't even read my email. Clearly they won't respond to it. Now personally I think this is appalling. Whilst I'm not going to recommend that you don't purchase from this company, I just want to show you the experiences I'm having with them, and then it's up to you to decide if you want to purchase from them or not. The lash up is complete. You can see the mouse trap here feeding this small transformer going straight into the input of the preamp. The transformer here is still powered. The second winding is going straight to this board because I need the relays powered for the sound to come through. It rather tends to prove that the issue is the secondary side of that goes actually to power the preamp. In other words, the 18.018. Just to prove the point, I'm going to wobble the connections around, and no crackle. And just to show it is working, better not put too much of that on in case the audio police are listening. Basically, I've proved it's the transformer, probably the secondary side, although obviously as I'm not powering the preamp from that, I can't be 100% sure. What I'm going to do, I'm going to rip out this transformer and the associated wiring and replace it with that little transformer there, which is a 15-0-15, and I also need 12 volts, which I have on a similar transformer, because the current drain using our board is so low that you can get away with small transformers like that. It looks like I'm never going to get a replacement transformer, but just in case, I don't want to dismantle the transformer and potentially find the fault and potentially fix it, but more than likely destroy the transformer, because if the windings don't come to the surface and are easily repaired, then I've damaged it and I won't get the money back anyway. A strange thing about this is I've tried to contact this company, as I've shown you, and then I've tried to get information via AliExpress, and it is almost impossible because the bots that deal with you, the AI bots, don't understand what I'm asking them for. I don't want a refund of the whole preamp. The preamp itself isn't faulty, so I don't want to have it replaced. And equally, I don't want my money back. When you contact AliExpress, there doesn't seem to be a place. The transformer is faulty because they don't know what's inside the box anyway. As far as they're concerned, the product is the complete preamp, including everything, which I can understand that, but they don't seem to understand when you write the transformer inside is faulty. And I don't know what to do about that, because it's quite an expensive transformer. It's about 40 New Zealand dollars, so it's not peanuts, and I don't really want to lose that kind of money. But equally, if they ask for it back, because it's heavy, it's going to cost me as much as it's worth to send it back, because from New Zealand we don't have the luxury of subsidised mail. Well, the main thing I am going to do is to remove the transformer intact. I'm not going to take it apart, and I'm going to replace it with those two small cheap transformers. That the fact that I need two is because we need a plus and minus 15 to 18 volts for the preamp, which I can get from that little transformer, which is what I fed it through when we were developing the board. So I know it works fine. The other voltage I need is 12 volts at 100 milliamps. It just basically powers a couple of LEDs and the relays. So again, I have some 12 volt versions of that very same transformer, and I'm going to mount them in the box. I'll show you what I'm going to do. I can hear one or two of you good folks saying, you're replacing admittedly a faulty but quality transformer with two cheap and nasty transformers. That's not true. That transformer that's in there is over-spec'd for the job. It's providing nearly an amp on the 15-18 volt side and a similar current for the relays. Clearly I need about 100 milliamps for the relays and about 25 milliamps at most to power the preamp. So you can use these little cheap transformers, and ironically there is less magnetic field from these little cheap transformers because the magnetizing current on the primary is so low, whereas that big transformer actually draws several times more power than those little transformers. I know when you look at that you think, oh, that looks good, that transformer, gotta be good. There is nothing wrong with the design or possibly the transformer itself, except this one just happens to be faulty. After drilling a couple of holes and mounting the transformers, it's all ready to switch on and see if it goes bang or if it works. These are the transformers, and although they look the same, this one is a 12-0-12, but I only need one of the segments on that, so it's just 0 and 12. This is the 15-0-15 that I've been using previously when I was testing this in prototype form. All I've got to do now is switch it on and see what happens. The only issue I encountered is the transformers had quite short leads on them, and I've had to join them. That in itself is not an issue, except the wire that's used from the transformer is that awful aluminium coated stuff that doesn't solder. So I had to make a really strong mechanical joint, then solder it, and it makes it a little bit bulgy. Nevertheless, it all works. If I turn the volume on full, tap, no sound at all, and the whole thing is completely silent. Mommy, for God's sake. Now, I'm asking for trouble if I leave that on, but if I take it to another open channel, here's the volume going on full. The volume is now full, and it's just an open circuit input. No hum, no buzz, no interference from the transformer. Job well done, I think. The next video will be all about the circuitry of the little valve preamp that we've just had a look at. And my colleague in America, Ron, will be your narrator on this. I will just be editing the pictures together. Toodaloo, see you very soon. Bye bye.